20% of the global semiconductor design workforce is from India. But the catch is either we are working in a captive design center of a global company or we are working as a design services company.
Everything is massive here. The kind of a funding what you need, the kind of a technological advances what you need to develop yourself, the kind of challenges what you have, and more importantly, the kind of impact what it creates to the society. That's more massive here.
Engineers drawing $1 million salary sitting somewhere in Bangalore. If you search, you'll find. So these are the guys who define the architecture for next generation.
I'm sure you would have heard Sam Altman's report on India developing the most number of applications on AI.
Right.
Just yesterday, right? I don't want to be proud of it. I'm sorry. No. I want to talk about how many IPs did I develop on AI, which is making me different from just a land of application developers.
Hi. Hello and welcome. So this is RoundTable Central, hosted by Brand Story. So this is one of the flagship episodes of the semiconductor. So how the semiconductor industry is powering up the future innovation. You know, the Brand Story, so especially this platform, RTC, it brings in the change makers, the leaders, and the policymakers to bring in a single platform where they share about their insights, they discuss about the challenges and the kind of solutions. Most importantly, the solutions, right? So today we are going to do some kind of a deep dive into the semiconductor. So currently this is one of the most game-changing industry. From the AI revolution to the running the EV cars, from the your tiny chips like health devices to the quantum chips, and from the smart cities to the national security, you just name it, you know, the semiconductors are everywhere, right? In fact, gone are the days when semiconductors are just like, you know, just a hardware. Now they are the backbone of the kind of a driving force behind the modern innovation. So today I'm your host. I'm Rajesh. I'm the CTO at Selton Semiconductor, a fabulous startup that's intended to make out product lines in the power electronics. Primarily, we intend to reduce your power struggles, right? So prior to this, I mean, I bring in about close to 27 years of experience, and I have about close to 100 plus first-time silicon successes. And I did my PhD in microelectronics engineering. So the moment once I heard hearing all these things, you know, don't think all my days are, you know, filled with silicons, simulations, and all innovation ideas and, you know, great product lines. And not really. At times, I sit with my sixth cup of coffee and staring at my screen and probably wondering why the tapeworks are getting delayed always, again and again. Right. So the reason I'm saying is, you know, this is one of the industries very unique in this industry, you know, where everything is massive here. The kind of a funding what you need, the kind of a technological advances what you need to develop yourself, the kind of challenges what you have, and more importantly, the kind of impact what it creates to the society. That's more massive here. So you may be a semiconductor professional, you may be an entrepreneur, or you may be a startup teamer, or you may be a policymaker, or even a student. In case if your interest lies with the semiconductor, this is a session for you. So sit and relax, pick up any of your favorite coffee or any of the drinks, you know. So we have a panel of great people here. So we are going to explore the landscape of the semiconductor. So please enjoy the show. Let me straight away get on to, but before that, one thing. this panel is a very, very power-packed panel. So by looking at each and every one of the portfolios, I decided, this is not like just another casual stuff. So I did a lot of background work. In fact, I did a lot of research before coming to this. So this is the witness for the stuff which I did the research, right? So let me start with introducing the panel. Let me go in the alphabetical order of the first names, right? So, so this is Mr. Amit Chatterjee. Amit is a vice president of product management at Hardware. Just let me emphasize the company's name, HYDWYR. It means, hardware with all the vowels on vacation.
Correct.
So Amit leads product management and business development at Hardware, a fabulous semiconductor startup, building innovative solutions in energy management, manufacturing, and supply chain. With over 25 years in the industry, across major names like TI, Intel, and ST Microelectronics, he brings a wealth of experience in product marketing, business development, and embedded systems. Amit holds a master's degree in automation and computer vision from IIT Kharagpur, completed way back in 2000.
Last century.
Yeah. So, in short, when we are busy with our day-to-day operations, Amit is working very hard to make our life cooler, right, in the energy sector. So, it's great to have you, Amit.
Lovely.
Welcome to the
Thank
show.
you so much. Yes.
So, our next guest is Mr. Sanjay Keskar. So after a remarkable 35 years journey in the corporate world, Sanjeev founded Arvind Consultancy in about 5 years back, 2020, an advisory firm focused on building high-value added ecosystems for the semiconductor and electronics industry. Before this, he held leadership roles as a managing director and or country head for the 5 American giants like Aero Electronics, PMC Sierra, Freescale, AMD, and National Semiconductor. So, Sanjeev also served as the chairman of IECA, India Electronic and Semiconductor Association, and currently sits on the Executive Council. In addition, he is a chief mentor of STPA IoT Open Lab at the Electronic City, Bangalore. So, when Sanjeev holds a master's degree in management of sites in marketing and a bachelor's in electronics and communication engineering from Pune. So basically, when Sanjeev talks, people do listen, and at times people take notes. But one thing is sure, recently for the last 5 years, they started thinking of investing. Sanjeev, it's great to have you here. Indeed, it's a real honor to have you here. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So our next guest is Mr. Ved Prakash Bal. So he is from IESA. Ved is a veteran of the semiconductor and ESDM industry with over 27 years of experience. He has a deep understanding of India's electronics and semiconductor landscape across sectors, regions, and segments. Over the last 3 years, Ved has led IEC member engagement and ecosystem building efforts, doubling its member and creating impactful initiatives, events, and reports that bring India ESDM and semiconductor ecosystems together. As Director of Sales, Marketing, and Member Engagement at IECA, he leads everything from events, sponsorship to PR, startup, outreach, and member programs. So now every industry needs a voice. As far as India semiconductor is concerned, Ved is one of the loudest and the sharpest voice. In fact, if semiconductor had an IPL, I'm sure Ved would be the coach, the mentor, and definitely the sponsor too. Okay, so with this kind of a power-packed panel, we'll straight away get into the discussion around.
Sure.
So we are going to discuss about the industry trends, challenges, and solutions about the entire semiconductor industry, and especially we are going to talk about the India story too, right? Let me start with Amit.
Sure.
Amit, I kind of worked out questions for you.
Sure.
Let me read out.
Sure.
As a product management executive, is there any recent semiconductor product that you've seen which you made you know, wow?
There are some definitely, like for example, the exact example that I was talking to you about, Starkey, somebody from Intel that I had known, had really done a good amount of innovation, adding actually a very low power, let's say an AI accelerator, specifically for a verticalized market, which is hearing aid, right? Very beautifully done. The performance is really, really amazing. Those small deltas where your performance is few dBs better than what the medical grade devices are, that makes a big amount of difference into the end customers or the end user's life, right? So that's something that I felt was really interesting. Obviously, there are a lot of innovations like the big power guzzling GPUs that are available from multiple folks, not to name one. But they are definitely another level of innovation. The thing that I really love about innovation is where it has a direct impact on someone's life, right? And that I have seen in that Starkey product. Really liked it.
Awesome. I was expecting something like a GPUs.
Means to an end. I'll put TPUs, GPUs, NPUs, and all of them. They are a means to an end at the end of the day. Now, I am a firm believer, and this is where I would like to give credit to NVIDIA as a company, and naming them out publicly. They have invested on the tools. It's not only the hardware that they invested their effort on. They invested their effort on the tools. And that is where the combination of the CUDA software stack along with the hardware that they have brings in the benefit. Now, there were two things that were done very well by them. Sorry, a long answer, but I just want to cover this particular part. They incubated the minds, that is the researchers, early on.
Awesome.
So any model, any AI model that is a deep tech model or a new model comes on a CUDA architecture from a renowned university in the world. Unfortunately, not from India. I still feel sad about it, but it is on a CUDA architecture. I don't know if you remember Sun Microsystems. I'm sure you would have remembered that. At that particular time, it would come on a Sun Microsystem device.
Okay.
That's now CUDA for you, right? So this is what they did. Point one of the work that they had done. The second one is their developer program, which unfortunately my previous organization kind of let it go. They ensured that the developers are the king. They were supported. They were given kits. They were ensured that access to tech was very easy for them. And that made the big difference that what you see NVIDIA as today.
So before we started this session, you were kind of recommending this device to us. do you have any stake in the company?
No, I don't. I wish, but no.
Okay.
I missed out on that growth trajectory.
Okay. So let me move on to Sanjeev. Sanjeev, semiconductors often work silently in the background.
Correct.
As we shift into the era of smart cities, AI and IoT, right? So how are semiconductor designs and the priorities that changing the society in the background, according to you?
Rajesh, exactly. Means till, let's say, 10 years back, okay, common man was not even aware about what are the really benefits of semiconductor and technology. But today everyone knows. During COVID time, car production was stopped because of the shortage of the chips. And everyone realized that how important is semiconductor. This is a very exciting industry. If you look at even the growth rate, this industry is going to grow from current 600 billion level to $1 trillion by 2030, as per various market research report. And typically semiconductor contributes 25% of electronic value. So if semiconductor is going to be $1 trillion industry, electronic industry will be $4 trillion plus by 2030. So we are going to witness a pretty good growth. Now, the main thing happening today is everything is becoming smart and connected. Okay, we have so many connectivity solutions like GSM, GPRS, Wi-Fi, Bluetooth, LoRa, Zigbee, all type of new connectivity solutions, and all the appliances, all the gadgets are becoming smart and connected. So we are living in a world today that everything we touch or everything we are depending on is actually controlled by electronics, and semiconductor is heart of that electronics.
Okay.
So it has become such a critical and important industry. I'm very happy that India is playing a pretty good role into this semiconductor revolution.
Okay. Thanks a lot. Looks like the man of statistics. Okay, let me jump into Ved. Ved, as devices become smarter and more connected, as Sanjeev pointed out, from wearables to electric vehicles, right? So how is the role of semiconductors evolving to meet this demand? In fact, as Sanjeev mentioned about during the COVID, we had a shortage and all of this stuff. So how do you see from the IEC point of view?
Yeah. So if you see, more and more semiconductor is entering these devices, and they are becoming much more smarter. So some of they are sensing more around, and then deciding what is appropriate to do. For example, earlier 10 years back, the cars were having very few microcontrollers. Now the modern day Tesla is having 1600 semiconductor items inside, and I think 120 processors. That means even when the rain comes, it is able to sense and start the wiper. The light, depending on the outside condition, the light is becoming dim or bright. Then there is a whole infotainment system. It is like a Apple phone on 4 wheels, actually. Apple laptop on 4 wheels. So earlier it was very functional. All the systems were mechanical. Like it was basically the fuel would burn in carburetor, and and the car would not be so smart. Now it is you are approaching near the car, it opens. So it has become very, very smart. So, and it is very connected. Internet is sitting inside most of the devices. Now, if you see the fridge is having a big display. While you are cooking, it will show you the latest of episodes, and it would suggest also. And depending on your preference, it would keep the next episode ready. So all these devices are not only becoming more smart and connected, they talk to each other, and they are becoming more safe. If there is a fire situation, that would be sensed and alarm would come. So it is becoming ubiquitous. Everywhere semiconductors are there. They are sitting. Earlier, before COVID, it was not having that glorious place. It was considered as a background industry. Because of huge shortage and especially in automotive sector, cars were sold without infotainment system. The $4 chip, $3 chip was holding $1 million car. So all that has brought semiconductor into the forefront.
Okay.
Now, semiconductor is a big multiplier. Like how Sanjeev ji was telling, $1 worth of semiconductor would produce $25 worth of end equipment. And then these end equipments are all inserted in various industries. Like agriculture earlier was, no electronics was used. Now in Israel, even the sensing of moisture is done, and locusts and everything. And from big data analytics, they will know that something is coming, and you need not water the plant today, because tomorrow there is a rain which is going to come.
Also,
yeah. So all this means semiconductor is finding place in various aspects of our lives. Any shortage there is having 25 times multiplier effect. So now everyone knows about it. So most of the countries are taking the call of becoming at least self-sufficient. In future, it would be one of the ways to control, the geopolitical outcomes also. So they are ubiquitous. It is very important to have semiconductor plans for each company and country, and that's where we are.
Oh, it's very, very inspiring. Thank you. Thanks, Ved. So the way I structured, since you people are giants, so I structured in three kind of segments. What we had is a kind of a startup, warm up. So now we have a product specialist, we have a CEO, and of course we have the ecosystem. So now the way I'm going to slightly get into more the next level of it. Let me again start with the A for Amit.
Yeah, A for Amit has always had a disadvantage of being in the class first called. Yes. I know.
Okay. So you are part of a fabulous startup.
Yes.
Of course, you are a proud TIN.
Yes.
But how difficult or doable to do an IP, to define and own an IP in India?
If you would have asked me this question 10 years back, I would have said impossible.
Okay.
Right. But thankfully, with the ecosystem that is ripe in the country, and also I think the conversation that we had just a while back, there are a lot of people who want to contribute back. Now, touch wood, maybe because we have already are in a decent financial position, or we have our kids in a decent college and taken care of. There are more people, at least in my age group, and a little more, who are coming in together, bringing in all of that knowledge that we have actually given out to an MNC, right? Where we have acquired it and also used it for them, right? Those folks are now willing to join hands. Those folks are now willing to come together and really work on something differentiating and for the country, right? So, so like I said again, 10 years back would have been really impossible. Today, I would say not so easy still, but definitely easier.
Okay. Oh, that's impressive. Okay. So, Sanjeev, you've seen India journey across decades, right? So, whether India's role got changed, according to you, from an outsourced design partner to move up in the value chain, what is your perspective?
See, Rajesh, today, if you ask me, the biggest challenge for India is about the local value addition in both semiconductor and electronics.
Okay.
Now, when we talk about semiconductor, there are two aspects. One is about the chip design, VLSI chip design activity. Second is about wafer fabs and manufacturing of semiconductor. Okay. We were not there into manufacturing at all. Okay. And now with the new semiconductor policy by Government of India, we are seeing wafer fab proposal or ATMP OSAT and compound semiconductor proposals are getting implemented, and that ecosystem will evolve. But when it comes to VLSI chip design, India really got a great talent. Means today, 20% of the global semiconductor design workforce is from India. But the catch is, either we are working in a captive design center of a global company, or we are working as a design services company.
Okay.
There are very few fabulous companies from India who are doing IP creation or a chip development from India, where the value of that design will be captured for India. Means today, top 25 semiconductor companies have their captive design centers in India. You name it: Intel, Qualcomm, Texas Instrument, NXP, ST Micro, Infineon, Microchip. All of them have large captive design centers in India. Our design services companies are doing global chip physical design as well as verification jobs. But how many fabulous companies are there today who are doing chip innovation from India? And government realized this challenge. Actually, they have come up with a very good program called DLI, Design Link Incentive, where they are giving 50% incentive for the startup chip design activity. And once that chip goes into production, there is a production link incentive of another $4 million. So I really expect that now, as Amit was saying, people have gained experience, people have contributed to global semiconductor industry. Now that talent really should think of starting something on their own with this new scheme of DLI and do the innovation in chip design from India. So on one hand, the semiconductor fab and ATMP OSAT ecosystem will evolve. But on the other hand, we should also feed those chips designed by Indians for the world to these fabs and ATMP.
Okay.
So that's the big challenge, if you ask me, that we have to go up on the value chain. We can't be just doing the job work for global companies.
True. In fact, with that is in mind, probably you started your own.
Absolutely, Rajesh. I realized after working for 5 American companies that now it's a high time that Indian ecosystem should evolve, both in design and manufacturing, and that's the charter of my consultancy firm, to support startups and MSMEs who are doing good work into semiconductor and electronic space.
So, audience, if anybody wants to start a company in semiconductor, he's the man. Okay, let me move to Ved. So, Ved, from ICA view, our Indian chips are truly making their way into the global flagship products, according to you?
So, if we split the question, are the chips that are getting designed by Indians in India reaching the world? Yes, the answer is resounding yes. 25 years back, when the centers were coming, they were doing small job work, basically outsourcing model. But now the core teams are sitting here. So there are engineers drawing $1 million salary sitting somewhere in Bangalore. If you search, you'll find. So these are the guys who define the architecture for next generation. And most of the GCCs that you see, the work that they do is for 5-year, 10-year hence. So what would be their IT strategy? What would be their internet strategy? What would be their app strategy? All those things getting done here. So even for semiconductors, cutting edge happening, but for multinational companies. Now, India government realized that we should have our own brands. Where are the NVIDIAs and Broadcoms of the world from India? Each country has something to, something big, like TSMC for Taiwan is doing the lifting, Huawei and others from China. So who is there from India? So they created this DLI program, because all these companies, innovation is such that if you have, you can catch up very fast. So everyone is using the TSMC processes and IPs. And I'll just give an example. Suppose, a reputed analog company, which would have designed a ADC 10 years back. Now ADC would last for 25 years. So they would have done it in an old node. Now, suppose I'm a startup and I'm starting today. If I enter into ADC, I can take advantage of the new nodes to achieve a ADC which is having far superior characteristics and cost points than the established big company. So I don't have that very big disadvantage. For fabless companies, in analog or digital is a heavy lifting, because it requires hundreds of millions of dollars to do for example, an AI engine. But for analog, which is also equally profitable, if not more, that we can do. Small companies can pick niche areas like low power or high speed, and develop chips for that application. One of the startups in India, I won't name them, but they have shipped 100 million chips. It's a purely done out of Bangalore. Ownership outside India, but team 100% India, and it is a startup. Another few companies have started raising funds, and they have 5-6 tape outs done. So the story is starting. Some brand would come into picture, and we would be, we don't want to be the California immediately, but mini California of the world, and we need some funding. Now the funding size has increased from several hundred Ks to $5 million, $6 million. This year, some of our startups, some of the ISA startups, they have raised the ticket size of 5 million. So my dream would be, when they raise in 2 digits, then $25 million, and then finally $100 million. If they do it, then we are already there.
Awesome. Okay. Thank you. So, nowadays the buzzword is AI. I think without mentioning the word, the session won't be complete.
Sure.
So let me also get into the AI. Amit, are Indian startups getting into the race of NPUs, TPUs, or edge hardware? Or is it just like a Silicon Valley party now? According to you, what do you think?
So there was a very interesting conversation that we were having with a customer, and the customer, US analogy, but I'm going to just make it as an Indian. Think about it like do you cook?
Yeah.
You have used Kitchen King masala?
Yes.
So he's saying, don't use AI as Kitchen King masala on whatever that you are offering me, and then make it look good. So what is happening right now, the race for AI has become, at least in the California landscape, it is like anything and everything has to be now AI, right? That is the story. Now, cut back a little bit. Will you be able to fight that ticket size? That bigger ticket size sitting from India? Very difficult.
Okay.
So you have to, as a product team or as a company, you have to find out where that niche is, where that AI, meaningful AI, needs to be integrated. Don't just sprinkle masala because you have the option of sprinkling that masala, right? When we talk about AI, the hidden cost of software is humongous. You don't understand. Just the piece of hardware development is a small piece. The cost of software development is huge. So, so you have to be a little careful on that particular part. So coming back to the question and just a straightforward answer on that one. As part of our company as Hardwire, we believe everything will have AI inside it. Okay. Every chip, every silicon will have AI inside it. Okay. How big or small that AI would be would have to depend on the vertical application.
Okay.
So that custom, or I won't say custom, but a right fit is essential. Don't just sprinkle it, but make it to the demand what the customer needs, or the vertical market needs.
Okay. I think probably we need to record this and just play it on California streets everywhere. Okay. So, Sanjeev, again, so what are the key challenges that you see, especially in this kind of AI era?
Sure. I think for India, the key challenges will be twofold. Our consumption story of electronics and semiconductor is very, very strong. Because of 1.42 billion population, more than 400 million middle class population, I think India, which was last year consuming around 5% of the global electronics, by 2030 will be 10% of the global electronics consumption. Means we are one of the fastest growing industry when it comes to the consumption of electronics. Now the key challenge for India is, as I mentioned in my previous answer also, is about the local value addition, local contribution. How we can really scale up in the value chain. Because even though we have now started wafer fab and ATMP OSATs, the demand supply gap is so large that still will be depending 90% on the imports of the component. Even if these 5 projects, 1 wafer fab of Tata and 4 ATMP OSAT are in full production, still more than 90% of the components we will have to import. Okay, which is, if you ask me, is the biggest challenge for us, scaling and really becoming competitive. See, in semiconductor industry, till now we used to follow Moore's law. Now, world has already migrated to 3 nanometer technology. Means the latest NVIDIA, Intel, AMD, Qualcomm chips are on 3 nanometer technology. We are yet to start a 45 nanometer fab in India. Okay, so that gap on technology front is one of the challenge. And the investments requirement into semiconductor manufacturing are very high. Means if you have to set up a 3 nanometer fab, it will be more than $10 billion, $15 billion. And right now we are going to set up the first Tata fab of 28 nanometer. So I think that is one big challenge, how to really bridge that gap on the technology part. Okay. The second aspect of the challenge is electronics and semiconductor technology changes very fast. And investment required for chip developments are pretty high. Means today, if you have to develop a SoC or next generation AI-based processor or DSP, anywhere between $20 to $30 million minimum investment is required for that chip development.
That's what Ved's wish list.
And the challenge is, Rajesh, that chip development takes minimum 2 to 3 years time. And then the system development around that silicon will take another 1 year time. So you are anticipating something, the market which will be 4 years or 3 years down the line, and you are investing today into that technology. You don't know what your competition is doing, what is their roadmap. So, semiconductor industry's biggest challenge is you have to continue investment into R&D and innovation, okay, with a hope that, okay, it fits into the end application roadmap, or there won't be another breakthrough technology which will kill the current technology. Okay, so these are the few challenges we have to go through when it comes to semiconductor or electronics.
Well said. Yeah. Thank you. So, Ved, again, back to you. So, with the global race heating up for the AI industry, GPUs, TPUs, NPUs, right? So, where does India stand in the story? And what needs to happen for us to become a serious player in AI acceleration tech?
Okay. So if you see AI applications, so each company is having, they are all running pilots, right? So AI has so many, so many things to do. Like, for example, if it is autonomous driving, for example. So AI chips can do it, but then there are ethical questions, and then the deployment questions, and the decision making. Typically, we decide in boundaries. So those boundaries need to be set. So every company which is having AI program is mostly piloting something or the other. So possibilities are immense. So, but deployment would be a challenge. Like, for example, if a car is running autonomous and a cow comes and a human comes, whom should it strike?
Right.
Or, for example, an old man is coming and a young kid is coming. So those kind of decisions, when a human is driving, those are out of question, right? So because it is accepted that human would take an appropriate action. But for AI, it has to be defined. And the one who defines takes all the blame, or, of that. So each AI deployment would have that question mark somewhere. So for example, if it is a manufacturing setup and AI is helping into improving the, efficiency of the manufacturing, that is no brainer. It would be implemented. Like, for example, in the chip design, if we are using AI to, make the process more efficient, it's given, it's done. But if it is a generative AI, for example, if some kid is asking, I want to hit my friend, what is the best way to do it? Now, the answer to that for AI, a human can give, right? Depending on, and it is expected that each human would have some responsibility. But here AI cannot suggest, right? So boundary conditions are yet to be set. So those are the challenges. See, everyone in the tech industry, because AI is going to enhance your tech capability and make your life much easier. But then it can sing for you also.
Okay.
So that's a question. It can take my voice samples in this interview, and I can hear Rafi's songs in my voice, and I'll be amazed. Like, it is entirely coming in my. So for AI, those immense possibility itself become a little bit of limitation of it. But it is going to come. It is like internet. When internet came, there are so many pitfalls of internet, but it came anyways, right? And we as a society, as humans, we figure it out. So AI is going to come, and a lot of AI work is happening in Bangalore, cutting edge, including the neural chip designs happening here.
Wow.
There are some companies, which I won't name here, they have just raised fund in California. Rest A to Z team is sitting here in this city.
Okay.
And they have $1 billion valuation.
Including the architecture?
Including architecture.
Oh, okay.
Everything.
Okay.
The whole team is sitting here. Only 6 guys sitting in California. Those kind of companies are there. So we are doing cutting edge work here. For example, he was telling the software is the most critical part of it. Many people are doing the EVMs. Big companies doing complete end-to-end application software here. So a lot of work is happening here. We don't have our own brands. That is across that problem, that there is no such AI neural processor company here. But like he said, in the microcontroller, they would incorporate AI in some way.
Okay.
That would be the way forward. So a lot of work is happening. We are very much into the same boat as the world is.
Yeah, thank you. So before we step out of the AI segment, one customary question I want to ask to all of you. I mean, whoever wants to, you can. So the question is, can AI really replace human architect someday? or will we always need that seasoned brain behind the architecture? I mean, it's open to you.
See, I can take an answer to that. Eventually, when AI becomes that mature, maybe, but at least for the next 20 years, no.
Oh, wow. Okay. 20 years no.
Yeah. 20 years, no.
Okay.
I think you can take even the highest resolution camera, but our eyes, no one can beat by any technology.
Nice.
Same way, the processing power of our brain, okay, no one can match that. So my answer will be ultimately, who is developing AI engines or AI architecture? Okay, it's humans who are developing. So I think human will definitely control everything
Okay.
at the end of the day.
Oh, it's
Yeah, my take is certain applications,
Mhm.
the AI can define it. For example, parking of a vehicle. You know, given the area, it can park beautifully, and there is no decision to be made wherever empty area is there. Or, for example, doing crowd management by police. So it would continuously survey and trouble spots. You can give it to the police. So that can keep on refining. They can take a command, because a human sitting with hundreds of screens cannot do it.
Yeah.
Like in the manufacturing, spotting the problem areas or
Inefficiencies.
inefficiencies, it can do beautifully.
okay.
So humans cannot match it. You keep 100 humans and for example, asking question on ChatGPT for generative AI, like who were all the prime ministers of India. Now it would immediately give. It would not give only for this country, but for each country in the world in one go.
Yeah.
So where the end problem is well defined and final, there it would certainly make our life very easy. But where human decision making is happening, or where innovation is possible, so there it needs we as a co-pilot. As of now, AI is our co-pilot, but later on we would be their co-pilots, and we would be continuing to evolve things.
Awesome.
Like for example, landing on Mars, after 20 years, AI may lead us.
Okay.
It will give us an option. We have to choose how much money you want to spend, and then how smooth. so those kind of things. So it would go hand in hand.
Thank you. So, so enough of AI. So let's slightly move on to the startup circuits. So Amit, you are walking the fabless talk.
Yes.
So what's your advice to someone wanting to launch a product company in semiconductors today in India?
So, see, you have to be the pitfall. I think Sanjeev can also give out a little bit. But when I was leading the startup program earlier in my previous organization, the advice still remains the same that I try to follow on myself. Be very clear on who is going to pay and how much are they going to pay. Have that clarity in your mind.
Okay.
Right? If you don't have that clarity in your mind, you will never be able to define the product, the MVP for that particular product, define the key capabilities, the differentiation that you require. All of this will be completely hogwash, because then you will be either going to business or to technology, right? Unfortunately, I have seen a lot of folks in our country specifically moving into the technology part of it, where they want to build something just to show that they have the technology, right? But that will not drive them beyond a certain path. So the biggest advice that I would like to put forth is define your segment, define the customers that are leading that particular segment, try to tap into the homegrown customers that are there. There are very good brands that are coming up in the country itself, very big brands. Tap onto them. They are going to be your, I would say, spokespeople for you, because if you are innovating for them, they will promote you. Why not? Because we are in the same ecosystem at the end of the day. Define that, work on it, be patient, and have good resources. Just pray for good resources and you are done.
Okay. Thank you. Thanks, Amit.
Let me add to Amit. The key important thing for any startup is what differentiator you are bringing. What I have seen, one of the main reason of failure of startup was they come up with a Me Too idea. Okay, and only differentiator is, okay, I am going to be cheaper than the available market alternatives. And by the time you design and develop, the established player who have already amortized their R&D cost and all the overheads, okay, they can easily match the price point what you are aiming at. So I think unless you have a good differentiator, okay, and as Amit rightly said, customer commitment, okay, one should not be really developing and investing into developing technology for technology's sake.
Okay. Okay. But, so let me jump into Kuwait. So India is building semiconductor hubs from Bangalore to Noida to Hyderabad to Ahmedabad to Pune. So what does it take, according to you, to create a talent ecosystem so that can truly rival the global tech?
So, see, India, we have engineering as one of the prime option for kids. So, we are a place where everyone wants to become either doctor or engineer still, while things have changed outside India.
Mhm.
In US, the funnel has become much thinner. They don't have enough engineers on which their programs for high tech can be built.
Okay.
That's why you see Indians dominating world over on supply of tech. So that is in fact this is strength disguised as a weakness, because our colleges, if you see that's a problem of our education system, that our university research is not applied research, predominantly because of the same reason. Less resources have been given to them in the start. The industry is not able to pay for innovation that they are creating, because their labs are only helping them to write papers and little beyond papers. While the universities in Europe and US they have their fabs which is churning out products, so they can do pilot production itself and in the university lab, while we cannot do it. So it would evolve certainly, because most number of PhDs, one of the multinational companies which is our member was telling that most number of PhDs employed in their company are Indians. That means our guys doing graduation here, masters here, and do PhD outside, and they are hired. And when they are coming back to India, they are the ones who are heading their research units. So manpower problem solving is, if we define the jobs then and training path, then because jobs are available, our engineers would train themselves. We are very smart about it. So the problem and solution would be 6 month to 1 year lag. So and while these deep tech units which are coming, fab and all, we all would get that much time.
Okay.
For example, the 4 units I am hearing, when they launched, the biggest problem, 2 problems they had in their mind. One is, who is going to load them? Because India is not known for a destination for semiconductor packaging, for example. So who will give? They will all wait and watch. Let someone else give the order. But then it is turning out that that is not the case. It is much easier, because the same assembly lines which are there world over for packaging, those equipments are being utilized. Same equipment from Teradyne and Advantest, same class clean room, same guys who are running the fabs elsewhere are going to run it. So there is no doubt that loading them is not a problem. Some of them have got 30% kind of loading possibility already. And training, they are following like first set of the car companies you would have seen, Hyundai and Suzuki, they came to India. First 1,000 employees they brought. First 100 employees they brought. And then the next 100 were trained under them. And then ever since, they have not talked about any manpower problem in automotive. Okay. We have never heard of that, right? So here also the same thing would happen. We would quickly, we have 6 nano centers in India already. 6 IITs and IAC already have nano centers. Okay. So the output from that would be 70-80% ready. That means they would need just 3-4 months of training in an actual fab scenario or actual OSAT scenario, and they are ready to deploy. Okay. So that I think already these units have already kind of addressed this problem. And one of them needed 40 guys ultimately in the assembly line. 10 of them are already ready, and every 3 months 10 would join. By the time the factory is on, the 40 technicians that they need would be ready. This is being done from a collaboration with IIT Madras.
Okay.
One training institute is doing. So this kind of innovative problem way we would address and solve it. Should not be a problem as per my reading.
It's very promising. Thanks, Vedant. So, yeah. So from let me move to the last segment, the very important one, the talent and innovation. So, building India's chip ambition, right? So, Amit, with the again, sorry to mention about it, but with the rise of AI, design automation and chipless architectures,
Sure.
what new skills should be prioritized in the semiconductor industry going forward?
Little bit on the deeper tech part of it, right? See, India is a great land of integrators. Don't get me wrong. We know we can churn out use cases. I'm sure you would have heard Sam Altman's report on India developing the most number of applications on AI, right? Just yesterday, right? I don't want to be proud of it. I'm sorry. No. I want to talk about how many IPs did I develop on AI, which is making me different from just a land of application developers. That is where I want a little bit of a shift in the mindset to be brought in, right? Now, a deeper answer to that, if you are working on only usage of AI, your run rate or your lifetime will be that much limited to when AI learns your job. It's as simple as that, right? Like what Ved started, parking. The moment I fix parking, I don't require, let's say, the parking attendant in the malls anymore. I'll possibly have the car say, go park in this slot, and it will go park in the slot. Maybe not be able to drive in the road, but at least park, right? So I have already removed that menial repetitive job out. Right? AI is doing that. BPO industry, it's a big hit. BPO industries are very badly hit because now call centers are AI bot driven, right? And they have human-like voice. They do human-like empathetic interaction. You will actually not know whether you are talking to a human or to an AI bot, to be very frank with you. At least the people who can spend that much amount of money, they're already doing it.
Okay.
Right? Now come back to what we are thinking about. If you are only an application, your mindset is only an application, you will get short-term rewards. No, don't get me wrong. You will get it. But if you don't invest on the IP on the longer term, you will never stay relevant for the longer term. So the question that you asked me in the previous question, system architects. Now, what is a system architect? A person, he or she, knows everything in and out of what goes in the system.
Yes.
Right? Including the data flow, including where the deployment scenarios are, who is going to deploy it, how will they deploy it, what scenario it will be deployed. All conditions are understood by that person or set of people, right? If you don't go into that, if you don't have the faintest inclination to know that, I'm sorry, we have lost the boat. Right? That's the mindset shift that I request in the whole country, in the educational institution, in everywhere. I just want to quote one incident. Don't want to name the institute per se, but I'm sure Ved, you will be able to appreciate it, and I'm sure you would be able to. I just asked a very simple question. I have a DC current, 100 amperes. I connect the two wires. What will happen? Electronics engineers. What will happen? Nothing. I said, very good.
Nothing.
Nothing. They actually said nothing will happen. I said, excellent, man. That's like really amazing. So unless you really go into those detailing and figure things out yourself, right? Do experiments. Get that art back of doing that tinkering work yourself. Don't expect answers coming in from a YouTube channel from somewhere else. Who is creating that YouTube channel? Most of the YouTube content that we have in the country are non-technical or are purely for an educational competitive exam related. That's it. All the technical content comes from Europe or from US, right? Where people are actually experimenting and presenting out to you that this is what it is. A 12-year-old child in US builds a nuclear fusion reactor. Tell me, is it possible in the country? So point is that curiosity, which we always had as Indian, as a community, right? And we were so proud of it. Somewhere it's either hidden, maybe hidden for sure. I'm sure it is just hidden. Because if it is lost, then God save us. But if it is just hidden, we just have to bring it in front. And that itself will spearhead us way ahead of anybody else. Because we are very supremely intelligent group of folks, and we are an ecosystem raring to support each other.
Really, you are stripping us out, right?
No, but that's my firm belief. So that's
Okay. Okay. So, Sanjeev, it is not just Bangalore about anymore, right? So, a couple of metros already picked up. What are you seeing on the ground? For example, our tier 2 or tier 3 cities. So, producing talents that is for the semiconductor ready.
Yeah, actually, Rajesh, yes, things have started happening beyond Bengaluru, even in Karnataka state.
Okay.
Hubli, the company Sankalp Semiconductor was formed in Hubli. Mysore is emerging as another sector. Talking about India, I'm seeing Pune is now headquarter for many semiconductor companies for their chip design activity. Hyderabad has already emerged as a very big center. So earlier it was, most of the semiconductor industry was Bangalore centric, but I'm seeing now there are many metros who are already evolved. And in semiconductor is not only about the VLSI chip design, it's about stack development, device driver development, it is about reference board PCB development, it is about complete application development. So the allied design ecosystem is also very big apart from just the chip design industry. So I'm saying India is really evolving into multiple cities for this design activity. And the best part is I'm seeing the engineering colleges, even in tier 2 city, have started courses on VLSI chip design, or they are now focusing on embedded electronics design. So that is going to be main game changer, because once you have engineers coming out of those colleges, there is a natural human tendency with Indians particularly that I want to do something in my home state.
Yeah.
Means a classic example I am seeing Bhubaneswar in Odisha is emerging as one of the key center, because many people from that state want to do something
health tech for sure
into their state. So I think Indian ecosystem will evolve into multiple metros as well as in tier 2 cities.
It's very promising. Okay. Thanks, Sanjeev. So, with what role can the short-term programs, online certifications, or the finishing schools, so the upskilling platforms, right? So, do you think they can play
Yeah,
a
very,
role
very
in this?
important role. They can play a very important role. In fact, some of the companies have started doing it. So they are going to incorporate and fine-tuning their short-term training programs.
Mhm.
Because in deep tech, what runs fastest is the technology. So you need to brush your skills.
Mhm.
And if you are not trained, then you need to be trained to be useful.
Mhm.
Otherwise, for years, you will be not useful. So, and headcount thing works for outsourcing of back offices, but not in deep tech, right? You need to do something. Your output, because lot many people depend on the output that you will give. So, training and upgradation of skills is a must.
Mhm.
And there are agencies, because of our multinational companies located here, they also need their executives to upgrade.
Mhm.
So these training companies, third parties, and colleges are already knowing about that requirement.
Okay.
So when our companies would need this help,
Mhm.
this would be available. Because as of now, Bangalore, what has happened is Bangalore semiconductor design ecosystem is so well established
Mhm.
that global companies find, for example, for testing requirement.
Mhm.
Like, take example of one company, they would be having tens of 20 chips simultaneously getting designed. Now, they would have planned everything, but like Sanjeev was telling, the timeline of the chip when it would be taping out may change. It may go for upgradation midway the design. So your testing need suddenly would come, and your labs can handle only 5 out of this 20 chips at one time. Then the best way is to outsource it. Where to outsource? Not so where the bulk of the companies are here. So Bangalore has emerged as a center. So these services companies are helping indirectly in creation of a unbeatable ecosystem.
That is true.
So what would happen? These guys would pay little more for outsourcing this testing because they have not planned for it, and we would benefit.
Okay.
So those kind of things are because of critical availability of the ecosystem would feed the ecosystem to become more stronger, and our outsourcing companies would get cutting edge work, and they would also upgrade.
Okay.
So that is working here in Bangalore. It is working here in Pune and Hyderabad already, and other centers that you have mentioned also would emerge. So it would be built on this.
Fine. So we are just getting into the wrapping up mode. Before wrapping up, we don't have any kind of the fire rounds here, but maybe your quick kids may like this question. So again, it is not for any of you specific, but it's a kind of a common to all. If semiconductors were a fictional universe, which one they belong to and why? The options are Harry Potter, Star Wars, Toy Story, and The Matrix.
I'll have to go with the Matrix because of the AI story. Because that's where you will be like the co-pilot's example that you just talked about, right? Where the AI is driving a lot of things and we are a companion to them. So yeah, for me, it would be Matrix.
Okay. You want to pick it up?
Yeah, I think my kids used to love Harry Potter a lot, so I will go with Harry Potter.
Okay. With you?
I think it would be most of them because see, it is like typical application. If you see Matrix or Star Wars, right? So there, so many electronic systems are there, right? And some of the systems are self-healing also, right? Something goes wrong, the machine itself, the robot corrects it, right? So Star Wars kind of seems, because
More fitting.
Yeah, more fitting. That is where the AI is leading us. Self-correcting systems, like the building is damaged and the AI decides and corrects it, which material to use, how to go about it. And electronics, cars, going on limping mode. So as of now, the cars, either they will run or it won't run. But then there are cars which are coming in hybrid mode. They will run on green fuel, and something goes wrong, it would quickly shift to battery so that you can reach 10, 12, 20 kilometers on limp mode. So those kind of things, I think most of them are typical example of where AI would, even the Harry Potter's that flying thing would be reality through drones in future.
Okay.
Yeah. So some of the application are magical. So
Okay.
most of them.
Fine. So we are at the closing bell now. So from powering AI to fueling India's chip ambition, I think we discussed about quite a lot at length and breadth about the semiconductors, right? The semiconductor landscape in the technology as well as in India perspective. A huge thank you to the brilliant panel of judges, and so thank you so much.
Thank
and
you.
For the audience, thanks for tuning in. Hope you would have enjoyed the show. And before we wind up, so I just thought of sharing you with the one simple stuff. Semiconductors, I mean, this is typically, people think semiconductors are kind of a very, very high-end advanced story. But this is not only for the PhDs of the CMUs or Georgia Tech or Stanford. So semiconductors typically tell one important stuff to the common human being. If at all you feel you are small, if at all, you ever you think you are insignificant, and if somebody makes you as a kind of unimportant, think about the transistors. They are just a billionth of your size, and they do wonders. In fact, they run our planets. So this is Rajesh signing off from RTC of Brightstone. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.